Happy early Valentine's Day, all my fans. It's time for another My Little Pony episode review. Since Valentine's Day is this coming Thursday, I decided to celebrate the occasion by reviewing the episode Hearts and Hooves Day. Now, if you're a fan of the series but are still catching up with the episodes and haven't gotten to this one yet, if you're a fan of the main six, then prepare to be disappointed because this episode is all about the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Is this Cupid spinning around my head a little disturbing? Okay, sorry about that. Let me turn that off. There we go. So, let's dive right in. The episode starts off with the Cutie Mark Crusaders in school with their teacher, Cheerilee, teaching them about Hearts and Hooves Day, which is supposedly what Valentine's Day is called in the My Little Pony universe. The Cutie Mark Crusaders think Cheerilee is a very special pony. So on Hearts and Hooves Day, they made her this freaking ginormous Valentine. Then they asked her if she had a special some pony, but she didn't. After school, the girls go looking for a stallion that would be the perfect mate for their teacher. As they do this, they sing a song. Eventually, they wind up finally deciding on Apple Bloom's big brother, Big Macintosh. Now I need to ask, of all the stallions in Ponyville that they could have picked, what in the world made them think that Big Macintosh would be Cheerilee's special some pony? I guess because they're both Ensemble Dark Horse characters, that could make some sense. Although I heard some people say that a lot of fans like to pair Big Macintosh up with Fluttershy. Why? I have no idea. But I, for one, am not into couple pairings on this show, especially since the majority of the characters are girls. But I digress. So the girls set up this little place in the park for Cheerilee and Big Macintosh to get together and hopefully fall in love with each other, but that plan fails. While figuring out what they did wrong, the girls bump into Twilight Sparkle, who winds up giving them a book that has a recipe for a love potion, which they ask to borrow. And this is the only time you are ever going to see any of the main six in this episode. So then we see this montage of the girls getting the ingredients for the love potion and mixing them together. One of these scenes includes the girls forming a totem pole to reach a cloud. Yeah, Scootaloo has to stand on top of her friends to reach something, yet Pound Cake is able to fly around fluently. So they make the potion and bring Macintosh and Cheerilee back to that spot in the park. This time serving them up the love potion they made, but they say it's punch. Then the love potion takes effect, and the two fall in love with each other. Mission accomplished, I guess? But then they start speaking in weird tongues. Alright. However, they wind up being so in love with each other that chaos started arousing over Ponyville. The school was losing money, and the Apple family was getting way behind in their work. So the Cutie Mark Crusaders notice this, and they find out that the love potion they made was actually a love poison. They find out that the cure for the poison was to keep the two lovebirds apart from each other for 1 hour. So Apple Bloom takes Big Macintosh to a jewelry shop to help him buy a present for Cheerilee, and does her best to stall him as long as she can. I personally didn't like that sound Big Mac made when he nodded his head. It reminded me of Pinocchio for some reason. Meanwhile, Sweetie Belle takes Cheerilee to Rarity's boutique and tries to get a dress ready for her, but really she's locking her up in there. Makes you wonder where Rarity is at this time. Don't you wonder that? Eventually the girls lose their ability to stop the lovebirds. Big Macintosh starts hopping towards where Cheerilee is, and he's so strong that nothing, and I mean nothing, no matter how heavy it is, can stop him. Not even a freaking house! Again, that's apparently something that the power of love can do to one. Sweetie Belle does all she can to keep Cheerilee locked away, but she eventually breaks out. Again, the power of love. The two of them crash into each other after falling into a hole that I think Scootaloo made, and just in the nick of time for them to be normal again. After that, the Cutie Mark Crusaders confessed what they did and apologized. So, final verdict on this episode. Even though I prefer the main 6 more than the Cutie Mark Crusaders, I wouldn't say that this was a horrible episode. I mean, it wasn't good, but for a Cutie Mark Crusader episode, it was decent. Although one thing I did notice, if I have to give one real bash on this episode, it seemed a bit too much like the Powerpuff Girls episode Keen on Keen. You know, the episode where the Powerpuff Girls try to get Professor Utonium and Miss Keen to fall in love with each other, which ends up working but then getting out of hand. This episode is pretty much the exact same formula. Makes me wonder if the writers are starting to run out of ideas. But, like I said in my previous review, the Cutie Mark Crusaders are very interesting characters. And they should have their own series, seeing how they are treated in this series, even though I hate spin-offs. So that concludes this review. Happy Valentine's Day. My next review is going to be Secret of My Excess. So, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And until next time, get out of here. And until next time, Powerpuff 97 away.